all of Latin America, including Uruguay, as at a kind of turning point, can go in several directions. There was a period of increasing social democracy, more equity, more overcoming poverty, more inclusiveness, bringing in indigenous populations, poorer populations. Then there was an attack on it, a regression, shift to the right, most strikingly in Brazil with Bolsonaro. Now, I think it's an open question where it'll go. There are forces on both sides. That's kind of a microcosm of the international conflict. I don't, what just happened in Bolivia is a kind of a victory for the more left liberal programs. They made, Morales had many achievements, made many mistakes. It led to a military coup backed by the United States, period of considerable terror and violence, finally an election, restoration of MAS by a significant majority. Now the country, Bolivia, is sharply divided between the indigenous, more mountainous regions, the Europeanized, richer plains to the east. How that can be settled, not very easy. The same, there are similar divisions throughout Latin America. The tragedy, there's a tragedy of Latin America that goes long before these conflicts, deep, serious tragedy. In Latin America, the rich, basically, the rich elites have no responsibility for their countries. That's an old plague, goes back to Spanish colonialism. It's never been overcome. And you see it pretty dramatically in the modern period. So compare Latin America and East Asia, okay? So say, take South Korea. 50 years ago, South Korea was at the level of a poor African country, like Ghana, say. It's now an industrial powerhouse, one of the advanced industrial economies of the world. Same with Taiwan, to a certain extent, same with Malaysia, same with Singapore. Not Latin America. Latin America has remained mired in the neo-colonial structures. If you look at the reasons why, it's not resources. Latin America is far richer in human and material resources than East Asia. It's not external dangers. Latin America is very secure from external dangers. The only danger in Latin America is the United States. It's the main danger to Latin America, not foreign dangers. The United States consistently supports military coups, it undermines progressive movements. And I don't have to run through the history for you. You know it better than I do from experience. Not in East Asia. They have external dangers all over. So all the advantages are in Latin America, but the development was in East Asia. The reason is basically control of the wealthy population. In East Asia, they're under control. If you look at trade, East Asia imports capital goods, and it targets foreign investments for development, not Latin America. Latin America imports luxury goods for the rich, and there's no targeted investment. You just hand everything over to the investor class. East Asia controls capital exports. You can't export capital. Latin America, the rich send their capital anywhere they want. You want a big home on the Riviera? Okay, we'll build a home on the Riviera. You want to send your children to Oxford or Harvard, fine, you send them there. You have no responsibility for the public. They don't pay taxes, nothing. That's a serious problem in Latin America, which has not been overcome. And we're now seeing it. Take Brazil. The Lula government succeeded in radically reducing poverty, increasing inclusiveness, bringing educational opportunities to people who never had them. The World Bank, which is not a radical organization, did a study of Brazilian economic history in 2016, several years after the end of the Lula government. It described the Lula period as a golden decade, unique in Brazilian history for the achievements it made. And it said they could have been continued if proper policies had been followed. But there was a reaction, a right-wing reaction. And the Workers' Party, the PT, made very serious errors. For one thing, they got caught up in the large-scale corruption that is a disease throughout Latin America. They joined it and discredited themselves. Wasn't Lula himself, but he tolerated the corruption. Shouldn't have done that. Didn't diversify the economy, did not make moves to diversify the economy the way they did in East Asia. He relied on commodity exports, which leaves Brazil again in a kind of a third world system of exporting primary products and importing Chinese manufacturers. Not a way to develop. Same was true throughout much of the so-called pink tide. Same in Venezuela. Chavez did many good things for the population, did not diversify the economy. It remained the oil-based economy of the neo-colonial period. When oil prices declined, it was a disaster. Not the way it was done in East Asia, in Taiwan, South Korea, other East Asian countries. What does that tell us? Of course, Chavez also tolerated lots of corruption. Shouldn't have been done. Well, what all of this tells us is that social policies matter. It's not just enough to have rich resources, rich material and human resources. You have to have the right social policies. That makes a radical difference. Latin America is at a point where it has to make a decision. Is it going to continue with the same tradition of leaving the wealthy sectors free to do what they want, exploit, enrich themselves, take no responsibility for their countries? Or is it going to put into place social policies which lead to something like what happened during the Mujica years, during the Lula years, but without the flaws? Move towards economic diversification, control the wealthy, control investment, inclusiveness, higher educational standards, overcoming the vast inequality. All of this is possible, can be done with the right social policies. It's been done under much harsher conditions, under conditions of the conditions of East Asia. If they could do it, so can Latin America.